there's been one truly inspirational appointment. I'm going for it now. Nothing will stop me. Wheelchair-bound football fan becomes world's first disabled coach for able-bodied players after letter from Sir Alex Ferguson. Sohail Rehman, who's 21, was born with spinal muscular atrophy, which forced him into a wheelchair by the age of 13. Obsessed by football, he studied sports technology and coaching at college. He went professional after a letter from Sir Alex Ferguson praising his work. Now, a passionate football fan and player, he was determined not to let the condition push him out of the game. He studied sports technology at college and spent the rest of his time pitchside at school and at Old Trafford with the Man United Disabled Supporters Association. 2 years ago, a letter arrived at his home in Keighley near Leeds from former Man United manager Sir Alex Ferguson, and it's sealed. And it sealed his ambition. Mr. Rehman said, when the chance to play was taken away from me, I think it was the only option I had, really. I could watch the game, but I always wanted to do more than watch it. I did all the way up to college. And then once I got to college, they said to me, you know so much about sports, why don't you do sports? I decided to take them up on that and do sports, and gradually through the sports development course at college, I decided to take my FA badges and then basically got into it full time. I had a little bit of doubt before about coaching at that high level, obviously having never played the game at a certain level, but when I got a letter from Sir Alex, that was the final piece in the jigsaw. He congratulated me on my coaching badges and for the kind of goals I had in mind. It was a big honour. He is one of the biggest men in football. I'm going for it now. Nothing will stop me. Starting his career, Mr. Rehman will coach Sunday League teams and tournaments in Yorkshire, but plans to rise to the top with Manchester United in his sights. He added, I don't coach a professional team yet, it's just Sunday League stuff at the moment. My dream job is probably to manage the biggest clubs in the world. I would want to manage. Any coach or manager who says he is just coaching Sunday League just for the fun of it is lying, because every coach wants to coach at the highest level. That's the way I am. I want to coach the Man Uniteds, the Real Madrids. That's my aim. Mr. Rehman, a Manchester United supporter, admitted he often questioned his own ability while training at Leeds City College. He said, in the early stages, you always have that question, but how do you know when you've never played the game? But I think at the end of the day, they have the right to ask that. I look at it like there are some managers out there who haven't played the game, or they have played the game at a low, not high level, like Jose Mourinho. The other drawback, obviously, is I can't demonstrate what I want to teach. I get fully into it though. I analyze what I want them to do and go into it with them. I always work around the problem and find a way of doing it. I probably am a lot more descriptive than other coaches. There is a lot more planning going into it, really. There are some practical problems as well. You have a wheelchair and muddy pitches to deal with. That would stop any other person in a wheelchair, but not me. It gets stuck, but I just dig it out and get on with it. You just get in the zone. Now I've been told I am the world's first wheelchair-bound football coach for an able-bodied team. You know what? Spinal muscular atrophy, what it is basically SMA is a genetic disease that causes muscle weakness and progressive loss of movement. It occurs due to the deterioration in the nerve cells, motor neurons, connecting the brain and spinal cord to the body's muscles. As the link between the nerves and the muscles break down, the muscles that are used for activities such as crawling, walking, sitting up, and moving the head become progressively weaker and shrink, atrophy. Mental abilities are unaffected by SMA. The most common form is caused by a genetic problem where one copy of the genetic error is inherited from each parent. Now, you know what, yeah? You know what? It almost brings a tear to the eye, that story, because it's so inspirational. I'm going to come back to Sohail Rehman. I'm going to come back to that story because it deserves its own time. Oh, yeah. Solskjaer taking the Cardiff reins and Ian Holloway taking the Millwall reins. Hopefully, Holloway doesn't get the urge or the itch to quit again. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. And with Solskjaer, hopefully
he gets given some time.
Yeah, hopefully he gets given time, but hopefully Vincent Tan doesn't meddle like he did with Malky Mackay, because Tan basically forced Mackay out.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? In terms of the other appointment, in terms of Sohail Rehman, it's just what a story. It's fantastic.
That is an amazing story.
That is fantastic. And you know what? It's a case of, I'm gonna quote the G-Man here. Never give up, you never succeed.
Yeah.
And for Sohail Rehman,
yeah, no, for real.
deserves a round of applause. And at the end of the day, to get that inspiration from Alec Ferguson, to get that inspiration and support from anyone is tremendous. But to get it from one of the biggest managers in the game, it's fantastic, and it's obviously spurred him on. Yeah. And see, that's where sometimes I think the power of sport is just amazing.
Oh yeah.
Because look at it. He's got spinal muscular atrophy. And because obviously he knows a lot about the game. Yeah. Wanted to go into it, but it seems like he needed that little bit of a push. He got that push via a letter from Sir Alex Ferguson, and now it's getting him. If you believe you can achieve, that's it. In the words of Matt Hardy, if you believe you can achieve, and being strong mentally is just so important. And the fact of the matter is, Sohail Rehman, you can't do anything but admire it. No, that's the kind of person. For me, that's the kind of person who should be a role model. Oh yeah, that's the kind of person. And sporting stars, footballers, I don't think are role models, because most of them, if they had brains, they'd be out playing with them. But the fact of the matter is, if someone like Sohail Rehman can draw inspiration from sporting stars, then sporting stars need to have a bit more of a role in doing that. They need to set a better example. So I think it's a fantastic story.
Absolutely amazing story. Absolutely amazing story. We're talking about cup magic and things about football that were great earlier in relation to the FA Cup. This is something that's just great about football, full stop. Yeah. You know, Third, Football Unites Racism Divides, you know, they do excellent work. We obviously sat down with them a couple of years back, had a great interview. But I just want to chop Third in half and just go with the Football Unites section of their name. Yeah. And this is what this does. This takes football fans, enthusiasts from all backgrounds, all physical abilities, and just says, you know what, if you have a love for the game, this is what happens. I mean, it's very similar to that case of, I think there's a couple guys who were really, really good football manager players who ended up becoming real life managers as well. Yeah,
I know there was one when the Blackburn job was made vacant.
Although it's really, it's not on the same inspirational level as Sohail, of course, but it just goes to show, even with things like that football is such a powerful sport that it just goes to show that, you know, listen, if you have that dream and you hold on to it and you fight for it, you fight for what's right. Yeah. Fight for your life.
Fight for your footballing life, yeah.
You know, then it means that you can go and achieve it. You can be, all intents and purposes, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, and you know, as I say, Sohail is an inspiration to everybody in football. And I just think, you know, I honestly think right about now, what needs to happen from the footballing community, let's all rally around him. You know, I know at the minute, as he put it, it's just Sunday League right now. Yeah. But I don't see.
It's a stepping stone at the end of the day.
Absolutely,
it's the first rung of the ladder.
The point I was going to make was, I don't see why, say for example, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo can't send him a tweet just to say, you know, best of luck with everything. I mean, I know Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he scored 2 goals this evening, dedicated them both to the memory of Eusebio, whose body was actually put in Benfica Stadium, which I think is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Stadio de Luz, yeah.
Absolutely amazing
Rest
gesture.
Rest in peace, Eusebio.
Absolutely amazing gesture. And I just think, you know, events like this, events like Sohail, you know, being recognised as the first, you know, coach who's wheelchair bound of able-bodied players, you know, things like this. We need more of this in football.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And a lot less of the bureaucracy that's, you know, diluted down from FIFA, UEFA, the FA. You know, I'm like, give me more inspirational stories like this, and less stuff about we may or may not move the World Cup. Yeah. We may or may not.
Well, it's one of them. Was a lot less of the morons, a bit more of the inspiration.
This is what I'm saying. So, Sohail, congratulations to you. On behalf of Pitch Talk, I salute you, sir. All the best in the future. And you know what? Hopefully, one of these days we'll get to see you and have a Pitch Talk meet.
Exactly. That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic.
For anybody just to be doing something, whether they're in a wheelchair or whether they have a disability or whatever, any condition, I would say they're doing very well. And to push the boundaries and to do even more, I'd say congrats. I mean, if anybody takes after what happened in the summer when I was on this, when I was on the show, it's not many times that you'll find me crying to anyone. And I do have sort of a condition myself, and I've not held it back against me, because as you know, now I've got 4 jobs, and working all of them are all about football coaching. It's a professional development that I'm not willing to let go of. And I just see it as, Ray, you're doing a hell of a lot better than the situation that you've been put in. So for guys like him or anybody else, they should be looked upon as you could say an inspiration. But when you got people that will play it down, I don't really want to know. For me, even when you guys said thanks, I was thinking it's just another job. It's just a case of, I know that it's Arsenal, but again, I have to take my heart out of it and actually think, yeah, this is a career that I've got to go through. So I'd love to shake Ray's hand, and obviously I'd love him to actually go further in his career. If we ever meet up, then thanks very much. Be an inspiration to talk to him.
I couldn't agree more.